I'm Roxie with Roxie's Broadway Breakdown. Welcome back to my channel. And today I want to talk about the best choreographed numbers of Broadway musicals. I'm always fascinated because when it comes to choreography, it's never passed down like the script or the music and lyrics. It's always left to the next choreographer to just come up with and interpret as they so choose. And that's fine because there are plenty of very talented and inventive choreographers. But it's just that it's never, written down if you want to use the original choreography that some of these iconic choreographers have used, like Jerome Robbins, Fosse, Agnes DeMille. And so, when I've choreographed things, that's always one of the first things I discuss with the director. Should we use the original choreography that some people, if they know the show well enough, they expect to see the Fosse choreography. They expect to see Jerome Robbins choreography. They expect the Tommy Tune choreography. Or, I just want to go it on my own and do my own thing. But I think there are some numbers that almost require that you do what is known because it is so legendary. So let's break down some of these numbers. In fact, in Jerome Robbins' estate, he wrote down that if you get the rights to Fiddler on the Roof, you must do the bottle dance as he choreographed it. So there you go. Some choreographers do believe in their own work that they say, you got to do mine. And so starting with the bottle dance in Fiddler on the Roof. If you have not seen the bottle dance in Fiddler on the Roof, this takes place at Zeidel and Muddle's wedding. And the men wear these black hats and they nestle down a wine bottle on top of their heads. And the trick is to keep the bottle on top of your head while you do these very intricate steps, very hard steps. And if you drop it in the middle of the dance, you're out during the show. So it's a really exciting dance because every night you're thinking, oh, don't drop the bottle. Anyway, a lot of these I have broken down the dance or a rather large portion of, and you can find them on my dance playlist or my tap playlist. Moving on, the opening number to a chorus line. This is almost like a rite of passage. If you're in musical theater, you learn the opening number to a chorus line. And some of this is in the text of the song of the show. So, you hear that connects with turn, turn, out, in. And so you almost have to use the original Michael Bennett choreography. Same goes for the finale one. They're in the gold sparkly costumes. There's certain kick sequences and certain steps that reappear or that people know, they're familiar with. And so I think you kind of have to use both the opening and the closing choreography that people know. 42nd Street opening number. Again, Gower Champion's original choreography is just so exciting and it's challenging and it's hard. And if you have the tap dancers that are capable of this choreography, I say use it. I have seen other versions of the opening number, but I just always harken back to Gower Champion's original choreography, and I like his version. West Side Story, another Jerome Robbins show. People are pretty familiar with the style of the Jets and the Sharks, and especially with the dance at the gym and the Mambo playoff, the dance off at the gym. So I think if you're going to do that show, that you kind of have to do the Jerome Robbins choreography for the Mambo. Moving on to Newsies, I think Christopher Gattelli's choreography kind of makes this show. He incorporates so many genres like ballet and tap and jazz and musical theater and acro, and especially for Seize the Day, where he utilizes newspapers that they dance on and they do all kind of formations on. And so if you're going to do Seize the Day, well, you are going to do Seize the Day in the show, obviously. But I think if you're going to do that show, I think for at least Seize the Day, You got to do Christopher Gattelli's choreography. For Chicago, Bob Fosse. I mean, hello. For all that jazz that opens the show, I mean, that kind of sets the tone of the show. And so I think you've got to go Bob Fosse's route. I also think for Sweet Charity and Rich Man's Frug, that pretty much denotes Bob Fosse's style. And it's just that very, you know, style that we all know. Because I think even if you are not in musical theater, you almost think of the quintessential musical theater style dance of like hands and this and that, jazz hands. And even if you don't know that's Bob Fosse, you know what it is. You don't know what to call it, but you know what it is. And he just had his own style apart from everyone else. We know that's Fosse. So you got to use Fosse's style of dance. Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, choreographed by Tommy Tune. The Aggie boot dance is just so quintessential Tommy Tune. And again, his use of patterns and like beats and rhythms in that dance, you got to do the Aggie boot dance. Mary Poppins, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious in the show. They did, like, every letter is a gesture, like S-U-P-E-R, you get it. And so Matthew Bourne and Stephen Meir were so clever to break that down, and then the pattern gets faster and faster and faster. If you want to reinvent the wheel and come up with your own letters, by all means go ahead. But I'm like, why do the work? They did it for you. And so I would just do their choreography. And then in Oklahoma, Agnes DeMille, her beautiful ballet montage for Oklahoma. I mean, if you have the dancers capable of doing this beautiful ballet in the dream sequence, I would just do Agnes DeMille's choreography. She did it for the Broadway show and she recreated it for the movie. So I would just do Agnes DeMille. If you have the dancers capable of doing it, that goes with all of these shows. If you have dancers capable of doing this choreography, I would do it. And one more I would throw in is I Got Rhythm from Crazy For You that Susan Stroman choreographed. She threw in all kind of bells and whistles and tricks. I mean, everything from tap dancing on silver trays to using pickaxes and kick lines, and it's got tap and everything but the kitchen sink. And it's just such a fun, crazy number that I would just use Susan Stroman's choreography. I don't think you can top it. And I know I only put in a couple of female choreographers, but that's not to say there are dozens of talented female choreographers. You know, Kathleen Marshall and Jillian Lynn and Sonia Taya. I could keep going and going. But anyway, there you go. There are some of the best choreographed numbers that if I were doing the show, I would try and do the original or stick very close to doing that choreography. Try and stay true to the style. There you go. If you have some favorites, let me know. Don't forget to click and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next.